What's going on, everybody? Excuse me if I'm not my normal, loud, overreacting self today. I've been up for the past 24 hours. Was at the hospital for like 4 hours. Major back problems. I got a ligament tear. What it is like a muscle in my back is not a tear, but a strain. Like the muscles in my back are strained so bad that if I do too much, I'm gonna tear the muscle. So I don't want that to happen. I know some of you do, you mean bastards, but I don't want it to happen. So also, no sleep. So I'm kind of out of it. Wife is asleep. My son's still asleep. She's got to go to work. I'm trying to be quiet. I don't want to wake him up. She deserves the sleep. So, before I get into anything else in the video, Primetime '09 Nick, you were 100% right, my friend. That Sin Cara and Daniel Bryan match was off the chain. I loved it. It was the best match that I have seen in a long time. Awesome, excellent setup, excellent working. I hate the lights. I really do. I hate the lights. But the fucking match overshadowed the lights, and it was just outstanding. But I want to talk about something. I want to, have my little topics on my certain videos about just odd, off the wall, random ass shit. First video I'm going to be making is my thoughts of the 90's. Some call it the best years of wrestling. Some call it the most influential time in wrestling. Some people hated it. Yeah, there's people that hate the 90's, but my opinion, it was my favorite moments. I know I'll have people that disagree with me, but I started watching wrestling towards the end of the 80's, very end of the 80's. So I watched throughout the whole 90's. That was my favorite era. Let's start it off like early in the 90's, to kick it off. Not really to kick it off, but it was like around March, April-ish. Ultimate Warrior defeated Hulk Hogan for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship in a title versus title match. That match was very good. It had its slow, boring moments like the fucking 15-minute headlock that fucking Warrior was put in, and the fucking 25-minute bear hug Warrior had Hogan in. But it shook it up. You had, early 90's, still very early in my life, so I still have to try to fucking remember and figure it out. Bret Hart was a world champion. Fuck. Whole bunch of crazy shit. Mr. Perfect was an Intercontinental Champion. I mean, we had people that, you had Shawn Michaels break apart the Rockers, shook up all the little hearts of all the little girls. They loved them some Rockers. I thought the Rockers were the shit. But, you had Virgil breaking off on his own to become his own wrestler from a $1 Million Man. It's just so much. You had Bam Bam Bigelow facing Lawrence Taylor at WrestleMania. Go ahead, kick my ass because I don't remember which WrestleMania it was, but I don't give a fuck. I want to say it was 92, so I think it was WrestleMania 8. I know it wasn't 9. Might have been 8. I want to say 8. Could be wrong, but so sue me. I thought WrestleMania 9 was good. A lot of people don't like that pay-per-view. I don't blame y'all. We all like different shit, but, Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez. Undertaker won by disqualification. You had Doink the Clown versus Crush. You had Yokozuna versus Bret Hart. Yokozuna won the world title. Got taken away by Hogan, like, literally 10 minutes later. But still, I mean, I like the pay-per-view. I loved the arena. Loved the arena. Um, you had, I know I skipped it, but the Brain Busters was there. Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson were there. You had all these elements in the early 90s that led up into, like, the 95, 96 era. That was kind of the tweener years, in my opinion, that wasn't really good. Um, you had fucking Max Moon. You had Rocky Maivia, which wasn't very good. I wasn't a big fan of the Hunter Hearst Helmsley character. But you had all these elements in 95, 96 that really didn't make it too hot until 96, when out came the New World Order. Shook up wrestling. First time since, I want to say, like 83, 84 that Hogan was a heel. Hogan was a heel in the AWA. When he had Classy Freddie Blassie managing him. So for him to turn heel just shook shit up. It was crazy. Then you had Nash and Hall, and they came in. They was doing the damn thing. They had recruited Giant. They brought in 1-2-3 Kid, aka Six. They brought fucking Eric Bischoff became part of them. $1 Million Man and Virgil, or Billionaire Ted DiBiase or some shit like that. And Vincent. But in my opinion, that kind of paved the way for WWE to come with D-Generation X, Nation of Domination, Attitude Era. I mean, come on, the fucking Attitude Era. You had people like Stone Cold go from basically a who the fuck is that? Not really, because WCW he was a little somebody, but to come to WWE as the ringmaster, people, who the fuck gives a fuck about a motherfucker coming out in green lights wearing the fucking $1 million title that was given to him? Then comes out, badass motherfucker. The Rock. I mean, he comes out as this young, chipper, fucking cream in his panties motherfucker, and then turns into this fucking on the microphone, talking shit, great mic skills, The Rock. Triple H went from fucking whatever the fucking music he had, fucking bowing like that and shit, to fucking Triple H. Shawn Michaels. I mean, he always had that attitude, with the Diesel and Sid Vicious, but I mean, DX, he had the attitude. No pun intended. Bret Hart turning heel with the Hart Foundation. That was kind of controversial. Lord rest his soul, Owen Hart. You had all these great things, from 97. I don't know if too many people would consider 97 Attitude Era. I do. It was the beginning of the Attitude Era without officially announcing it back then. But from 97, to my opinion, 2000, give or take, Attitude Era. Those were my favorite moments of wrestling. Everything. Oh, Jesus. From DX imitating the Nation of Domination. Sting joining the Wolfpack. The Wolfpack being formed. Goldberg. A lot of people shit on Goldberg. I really don't care. I thought he was good. You can't blame him for too fast of a push. You gotta blame Eric Bischoff for that. But I think they did it pretty good for their time. Stone Cold being the world champion. The Rock being the world champion. The introduction of the Hardy Boys. The introduction of Edge and Christian. The Brood. The introduction of the Dudley Boys. Then you had ECW that was basically like, if ECW wasn't there, you wouldn't have an Attitude Era. Now, before you disagree, let me say this. You would have no Dudley Boys to be in the first TLC matches. You would not have Raven performing with Raven's Flock, which was big in WCW. You wouldn't have people like Eddie Guerrero's, Chris Benoit's, Chris Jericho's, Rey Mysterio's, Dean Malenko's, Perry Saturn. You wouldn't have had that shit. And in my opinion, it would have kind of tarnished the Attitude Era. And Mick Foley, you wouldn't have had the Mick Foley. Don't know if y'all knew this. Vince saw Mick Foley in ECW as Cactus Jack. Well, I don't know if he was going by Cactus Jack or did not. Brain fart. But you wouldn't have had that hardcore, I don't give a fuck style that the Attitude Era brought to you. So in my opinion, I think ECW was the backbone. They were the most slept on. They were probably the lowest class wrestling when we're talking about mainstream. They were the backbone, though. I mean, fuck, man. Attitude Era, 1990s was amazing. Without a shadow of a doubt, that when you watched something from the 90s, from the whether it's 1990, whether it's 1999, when you watched it, you knew you was watching something special, something that's gonna stay there forever. And there was so many moments in the 90s that's gonna stick with people forever. Diesel beating Bob Backlund at a fucking house show for the world title. Now, that's unheard of. If a world champion wins at a fucking house show, what do? They strip him of the title and give the old champion his title back before the show comes on. You know? It was just a great time. It was when fans could actually express themselves. Stone Cold was not supposed to be a face, people. But when you say a catchphrase and then the next night you come out and the whole arena has 316 signs all over the place, you can't help it. It was the fans expressed themselves. You couldn't stop it. If we didn't like you, you're getting booed. If we liked you, cheering the shit out of you. There was no covering that up. It was more of a freedom thing. And in my opinion, it was more wrestling. More wrestling was involved there, as opposed to what there is today. WWE gave you a better product back in the day. I even think WCW gave you product. And any of you who disagree, why was WCW rated number 1 in the ratings for 83 weeks in a row? My point exactly. Next time y'all try to compare TNA to WCW, you might want to think about that. WCW won the ratings war for 83 weeks. 82, 84, something around there. It was between 82 and 84 weeks. Until they fucked it up and announced shit. Mankind winning the world title. Fuck, I forgot all about that. You know, so much great shit happened in the 90s. I miss those times. There's a lot of things in wrestling that I miss. There's a lot of things in wrestling that I look forward to. But I wish. That's why I love WWE On Demand. I get my 1990s ECW. I get my Attitude Era WWE and WCW. I get the Monday Night Wars. Week by week, I love it. Oh, it takes me back. They try to reenact what happened. TNA tries to bring in more storylines and recycle them. But you need to go back to that originality. You need to go back to that cutting edge. Push the line just a little bit. That's it for today, folks. If I get a good response for this day, I might do this shit every day. I might do this shit a couple days. I might just do this whatever the fuck I feel like it. I might just start doing videos just for shits and fucking giggles. I don't know what the fucking plan is right now. But by God, we gonna work out something. Till next time, I will see you fuckers. Same time, same place, same person. Deuces.